Hello, my name's He Who Is in the Water. Going to be playing a league of Pauper Burn today. So a little backstory on why I'm playing this right now. A week ago I played a paper Pauper 1K with Pestilence. Had a great time. It was a small event with like 14 players and I got 4th. It was a good bit of fun. But while I was there, I saw a lot of mono red blitz, which was exciting to see the paper metagame adapting that fast. But also saw and played a lot versus burn, including Swiftspear, which makes a lot of sense in terms of the monetary cost. Where blitz is the new hotness with Swiftspear, but a lot of people, especially in paper where it's a pain to get a deck together, you don't want to buy all of the cards that you need for blitz, which you probably don't have on your Pauper collection if you've been playing the last year since Gush was banned. You may have the cards back from when blitz was a deck before that, but burn makes sense in paper. It's a deck that you have that Swiftspear upgrades, and you can just kind of slot it in, and you don't have to necessarily change a whole lot to get the best of it. And I haven't really played against burn much online since the Swiftspear downshift, and kind of what I saw of it in paper and thinking about it later and testing it out is that the blitz and affinity matchups are pretty okay. They're not great, they're not perfect, but like solidly feeling like 55% matchups. So I couldn't really find a list of burn that I liked to start with, so I just kind of started on my own with basically the core of Chain Lightning, Lava Spike, Bolt, Skewer, Fire Blast were just the cards that I was like, I'm going to play these. And Swiftspear, that was like pretty locked in. So Swiftspear is the biggest power upgrade that this deck has gotten, and what I think it enables the most importantly is that you can lower your curve playing it. You have more threatening 1-drops in your deck now, and I think that enables you to play Reckless Impulse more effectively. Impulse is a really powerful card advantage spell, but your deck has to be cheap to take advantage of it. If you're hitting a bunch of 2-drops, which is something the previous iterations of burn with like main deck Curse of the Pierced Heart would be doing, it's just a little too slow in the broad swath of matchups that you're going to experience, that it's a little bit dangerous. So I looked to add some more creatures to supplement it. So I think burn is also like reasonably well positioned because blitz is the biggest deck in the form. Mono red blitz is like the most popular deck and kind of the most sideboarded against at this moment, and people are correctly learning that the way you need to sideboard versus blitz is with more removal. Life gain isn't really effective versus blitz. They can deal you 30 to 40 damage pretty trivially in a turn with Team of Battle Rage and Kiln Fiend, so like Lone Missionary isn't necessarily going to be good against that. So I think people are trending towards more removal and less life gain, and specifically affinity sideboards. I think that trend is obvious, where they'll have like Chainer's Edicts and Blue Elemental Blast, but not Weather the Storm or Unexpected Fangs. It's like a really good black anti-burn card. So with more removal being kind of the answer to the red decks, the creatures that burn has access to actually go up in value a lot. Swiftspear and Gitu Lava Runner are haste threats, so even if your opponent is spending removal to deal with them, if you get in a few points of damage and then they have to remove them with something like Cast Down, then you're trading damage while trading resources and probably trading up on mana. So that's just really good tempo all around, which is again something that plays really well with Reckless Impulse. Voldaren Epicure kind of qualifies for this as well, where it doesn't play, it doesn't have haste, but it has pseudo haste where it deals damage right away. It has a really useful enters the battlefield ability of making the blood token, which just helps smooth out your draws, and kind of fills out that creature suite, as well as like the third cheap creature to help you be aggressive. So also with that observation that like life gain is not as useful versus blitz as removal is, like just kind of Lava Spike the card gets a lot better, so this deck improves well. So that's sort of like the culmination of ideas of like the creatures being good versus removal, and also like life gain being slightly less played is a really good thing for this good movement to see in the metagame for this deck to be more playable. So you may have noticed the contradiction in my deck building here, where like I have all of these 1-drop creatures that I'm excited about, and yet I've still got Thermo Alchemist in here. First couple leagues I played, I just sideboarded the Thermo Alchemist as a powerful creature to like be more linear, but I think I've just found that that Thermo is just too powerful to not be main decking. It's just too good for like when it sticks and you've just got like 3 bolt spells on turn 3. It's just nuts. Like it does too much there to be excluded from the main deck. Also of note here, I'm playing 18 lands. I think 4 Epicure allows you to play that, and with the creatures being kind of like your main early game plan to like your first 1 to 2 turns are going to be playing creatures, and then your burn spells are like turns 3 and 4 to hopefully finish people off. It's really important to curve out with that, so I want to have more lands to allow that also to work with Reckless Impulse, and kind of like that deck building theory behind how older burn lists were constructed with like 16 lands. It was more important to have that density of removal or density of burn spells in your deck so that you could just draw enough burn to close the game. But now we've got like more creatures to offer a higher ceiling, that the consistency of higher land counts is more valuable, I believe. So it's like a pretty small thing in deck building, but it's important, and it feels really great playing like just once you get a couple leagues in compared to like old burn lists. 4 Epicure and 18 lands is just so much smoother. But we do still have a lot of lands, so like being able to cycle them away to blood tokens later is nice. Like once you hit that 4th land, you really don't want any more in this deck. So Epicure's been more useful. When Epicure first came out, I was a huge hater on the card, but with Swiftspear, I think a lot has changed to make it a better card for the deck. And kind of the last interesting card in the main board is these 2 Manamorphoses. Before I was playing Needle Drop, and Needle Drop does not pair particularly well with the creatures, and Manamorphose also helps enable more turn 2 lava runners, which is something we're definitely interested in. It's also free with Thermo Alchemist to slightly increase the power of that card, but with Swiftspear, being able to increase Swiftspear and Thermo's strength, I think is enough to like include some copies of it, but it's still a hindrance sometimes in mulligan decisions, or specifically versus counter magic. It's a card that does nothing and like forces your mana to be used awkwardly, so it has some very tangible downside, but I'm hoping at 2 copies that we don't run into that as much and just get a little bit more of that free win equity that it can bring sometimes. Moving on to the sideboard, just in general, I hate burn sideboards. I find them just really poorly built most of the time to like play realistic sideboard games that you can win. So I just kind of didn't start anywhere and just started with cards that I knew that I wanted. Searing Blaze is great versus creature decks. Curse of the Pierced Heart is great versus removal and decks that are going long versus us. Keldon Marauders is similarly great versus removal and creature decks, and Martyr of Ashes is just going to be nuts versus go wide, low to the ground creature decks, although we're kind of one of those now as well, so it's a little awkward to board with that, but like boarding in Martyr plus Curse and Searing Blaze and like boarding out some of our creatures generally works out mapping wise for the sideboard, that I'm still happy to include it for the moment. Just kind of wrapping up here, the deck has felt largely reasonable in the leagues that I played. This is not like tier 1 by any stretch, but it feels playable. It feels like there's good reasons to play it, not just that it's new and interesting. It feels like there is some power here, specifically versus Affinity has felt like pretty solid, and Affinity's a tough deck to beat at the moment, so I like that a lot. However, some of the glaring weaknesses are still there. White mid-range, you just can't beat it. Pestilence with Lone Missionary Recursion is just too much at the moment, and I've played versus a lot of it in leagues, unfortunately, which is absolutely my own fault, or it's tooting my horn a little bit, but it's certainly a trend in the metagame I have contributed to play versus it so much. And Familiars is just really rough with God Pharaoh's Faithful and just a ton of blockers, which are going to be good versus our cheap creatures. And Boros has just been a nightmare now. The Gates versions, like Boros Bully was already really tough with Prismatic Strands and Seeker of the Way, but now they've added Sacred Cat to that, and it's even worse. So my sideboarding kind of reflects that I have just given up on the Boros matchup. Like if we were trying to beat it right now, we would need these Searing Blazes to deal with Seeker of the Way, and then Electrickeries to deal with Sacred Cat, and just hope that they never draw Prismatic Strands ever. And that's just not a realistic way to approach the matchup and like have a functional deck still. So I'm just giving up on that one. Maybe there's a way to map it out that works. Somebody out there can crack the code on that for sure and find something that I'm missing. But I'm good. I'm content just to give up on the Boros matchup for now. But I'm excited to play the League. Swiftspear in general has just made the deck more interesting and more challenging to build and play, and it's just been fun to iterate on this deck because I didn't like what I saw out there for the deck lists with Burn, and hopefully this is better, and at least in, I've got opinions on everything, so like maybe Burn experts out there look at this and say this is garbage, but I'm pretty pleased with where it's at right now, so hopefully it is good to you folks as well watching, and hopefully it makes for some interesting games. So let's get into the League. Okay, here we are for round number 1. We are versus Goodnight 42, or GN 42, but I've been on the internet too long, I read that as Goodnight. So this hand's a keep, I'm pretty sure. What I do with it is interesting though. Okay, versus fairies, I think I just want to get a lava runner down. Oh, okay. This is not fairies. Okay, so this is a very bold line, but I think we gotta take some bold action to get there versus familiars. And we've got lands to support this a little bit. Although Snap here is brutal. Okay, so they don't have Snap. They still might have Prohibit or something for this. But this is a Prohibit that's not getting the Thermo Alchemist, so I think that's good for us. Oh, but this is the Snap. Nope, no, okay. Okay, we're playing still. Obscure Storefront hurts me a little. So they have this Ephemerate coming off Suspend, so it's still fine to trade the Drifter for, and if they just want to take 2 here, like, that's also good. Yeah, probably dead this game, but it's okay. Can't win them all. Turn 2 5 Bless is pretty neat though. That's so fun. Moto's struggling a little bit here. Come on, buddy. I believe in you. Ooh, the Modern Age. Okay, well, Reckless Impulse is the necessity. If we hit, like, Bolt Fire Blast, we win. That's not the worst. I think we just have to do this and hope that we can rip more action next turn, but double Modern Age is going to give them some reasonable draws to action. So I'm not feeling good about this. Oh, they just have infinite life right now? They might. Get their thought casts. Make sure I have auto yields turned off, so if they just do anything, we can attempt to kill them, but obviously it does not feel good. I would like to get one more spell to start this chain off with next turn, but if they put any blue spell on the stack, I will attempt to kill them. Okay, so this is... Right, okay, this is fine. We still have outs here. Okay, Obscure Storefront makes it fewer outs, that's for sure. I think we just do that before they can attempt to draw counter magic, and we shut off this deep analysis in the graveyard. They cannot access it at any point. Okay. I don't believe they can deep analysis the way that works out, but we've got time here, we've got draws. I really should be playing the land. I have Impulse in my deck, so that's the only reason to hold it, but... Alright, so we've got precisely one window right now. To draw like Impulse into good stuff. Alright, now we're dead. Or not necessarily. Guess we hold on for a little bit. If we go like Impulse again into... Alright, sure, that's good enough for me. So... kind of like Searing Blaze and Keldon Marauders. You just need to push damage quickly. I really don't like Thermal Alchemist because of how bad it is versus Snap and Hydroblast. Not that Keldon Marauders is much better, but it's a little better. And then Manamorphose is much worse. And Reckless Impulse also feels kind of like playing too slow of a game. I'm down to trim on that, although maybe, I don't know. I've also sometimes felt that like Impulse is just uncuttable. We'll give this a shot. Okay, this is a nice hand. feel like they just have the Hydroblast here, so I'm not gonna play into it too much. And if they don't, like if this is just Cycle Ash Barrens, then the Swiftspear Prowess triggers are likely getting through next turn, so I don't feel like I lost out on too much. And specifically, this means that they're more likely to have like Sunscape Familiar here, which would be great for us to kill. Would love to kill a Sunscape Familiar right now. That one's worse for us. What to do? What to do? I think I will spike upstairs. Feel pretty good about that happening. And then let's just move to combat. Alright, I'll bolt face on no blocks. That was weird. Let's see if Swiftspear resolves. Does not. Okay, never mind, we're dead. Had a shot, but that one's just likely going to be too much. But I'm just going to push right now and say, show me Blue Elemental Blast. And they have it. We can draw Impulse and be kind of back in it, but this matchup's just not winnable. Okay, yeah, not with that. That's like pretty far out of winnable. Yeah, another Epicure is just not going to get it done, but that's alright. See you for round number 2. Okay, round number 2 versus Most Average Bear. And Manamorphose rearing its ugly head here. This hand is pretty strong. We are on the draw. We've got a 1-drop. Got pretty reasonable removal spells. So we play fine on 1 land for a little bit. I'll keep this, I think. Nice. Alright, so let's just get the Epicure in there. Hopefully they don't go like Force Spike into Counterspell. But turn 1 Brainstorm, probably pretty good for us. Yeah, Manamorpho's really rearing its ugly head here. It's going to be tough versus fairies to put a spell on the stack like that. Ooh, okay, Ash Barrens is good for us here. Do you want to play the Snow-Covered Mountain? Okay, they just want to bolt right away. I will present to you a slightly more interesting bolt target. Second Metamorphose makes me want to cry. Okay, I feel better about second Metamorphose because now I can just get rid of them. Oh, goodness. I think this is... okay, so I think Thermo is fine here to play for like one reason, and that's because they have double mountain. If they had 2 blue sources, I don't think I would do it, because then they could either counterspell my Metamorphose the following turn, or go Fairy Seer plus Spellstutter Strike. But since neither of those are particularly likely, because of this Brainstorm probably going to be used to like get them a land, I think I'm okay to put the Thermo in here. Likely eats a removal spell. I get that that's going to happen, but I think we're okay with that. Or am I? Or should I just cycle it to the blood token? Because they're so likely to have removal. If Fire Ice is in their deck, they can't ninja me off of this. Like, there's just no reason not to do it. Okay. Alright, we're gaming. We're just going to dump all of these sorceries right now because we are not wanting to play into Spellstutter Sprite on later turns. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, well, I've also got 4, 8, 12, 17 damage right now. So I believe they don't have removal. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Oh, William. Okay. Everything is fine. Okay, so this is the world that we live in now. How do we make it the best from here? Do I lightning bolt my opponent and fire blast them? It's let's see if they do it first, I guess. Yeah, they figured it out. Great. Yeah, great job, Will. Just great. Okay. Alright, so I don't think we can Fire Blast now. Because I think we need to try to Impulse. Like I could have even played the second land. If I played the land out, then it's like not as bad. Oh, that was just so bad. Unbelievably bad. Oh, that's the worst punt we've had on the channel since Clicking Through the Fog, I think. That's a... oh boy. Alright, well, we may still get there yet. If they counterspell this, Spell Pierce. Oh my god. Spell Pierce. Alright, well, I can't just run my Chain Lightning into a Fire Blast. I gotta wait for a little bit more pressure. Or like spells to put on the stack. Spell Pierce is uniquely bad there too, for me. Oh my god. That's so... like punting the previous turn, that's my fault. But the equity on Spell Pierce there is just brutal. Okay, so I think I just want to loot away Monastery Swiftspear. Because they are likely to have removal at this point in time. Perfect. Okay. Okay, we got there. Okay, thank God. That was I played that turn so badly. So unbelievably bad. But our opponent had some pretty heinous brainstorms early in the game to like let us do that. Also, like, weren't able to ninja their Augur Bolas, so that's, you know, we take those. But wow, was that bad. Okay, so I'm kind of interested in these 12 cards. What I'm not interested in is Manamorphose and Voldaren Epicure are very bad. Because we're going to kind of want to draw more lands in this matchup. And versus Augur Bolas, this card just has no or very little text. The 1/1's just never really going to matter. Thermal Alchemist is definitely scarier versus their removal spells, but hopefully we can just kind of stress their removal enough to not be super worried about it. Also down to trim like Skewer the Critics, since we're going to be worse at turning that on. One Fire Blast game's going along, we don't really want to draw too many of those. And a 1 Chain Lightning. No, it should be Lava Spike. Boarding out like a lot of the spell synergies, but our spell count is still 26 or 22 for Thermo. And I don't think we need to work that hard to make them good. Like a lot of our, like Thermo is good on its own. Monastery Swiftspear is passable on its own. And like, I think we just kind of get a little bit of flexibility to do that. And increasing our general card quality is going to be helpful. Okay, I'll keep this. I have the 1 Fire Blast, which is great. I will start on Lava Spike here. Interesting, they let on Mountain too. Alright, hopefully they tap out for like Augur and we get to Searing Blaze it. That's like our best case scenario. Okay, but this isn't counterspell mana. So Keldon Marauders is fine here. If they remove it, they still take 2 damage, which is good. And yeah, like this is fine. I think I'm actually okay to jam Curse here, because it's just eating Counterspell, Spell Pierce, or Hydroblast, and it's going to be harder into Ninja on later turns. Spell Pierce is of course the worst, because like they get end of turn Spell Stutter Spray and then Ninja me, but this is okay for us. Alright, give me a land, please. I'd like 1 land. Okay. here I think we're pretty incentivized to chain lightning this, although it's tough to like take such a passive stance here. I think the 5 power is just going to kill us too quickly, and we need to like drag out this game to get there effectively. Yeah, Bite's a removal spell, but this is still okay for us, I think. You gotta feel reasonable about that, right? I don't think we get to be too fancy here. We just gotta throw things on the stack. Try to keep up with them. There's like 9 spells in their deck that counter this, but yeah. That's good enough for me to concede. Yeah, so if we chain lightning upstairs there, instead of kill the Commodore, maybe we have a shot. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. Just felt like the hand was clunky enough that we needed the time. I feel pretty good about the sideboarding. Searing Blaze is awkward for sure, but you just need it, I think. Maybe I go down 1 for the Lava Spike. Maybe that's a little bit more disciplined. I'm on board for that. Hopefully that's not too results oriented. I think we just gotta keep these. Swiftspear on the play. My opponent can't draw Basic Mountain that easily. Not like for the 3rd time, right? Land. Oh, I think we're dead now, but that happens with burn. You keep 1 landers, you die. I don't think I'm not supposed to do this. I think it was a fine keep. Concede to a ninja picking up Sprite. Counterspell, not second fairy, is pretty good for us there. I think we're just dead. Because I feel like if we bolt this, we just never untap. Or if we bolt this, we just never resolve another spell. I guess we're never resolving another spell this game, and I just need to concede, and that's okay, but yeah, that's okay. I'm good. Alright, we'll see you for round number 3. Okay, game 3, or round 3. Let's try to keep our hopes high. Instead, we have faced another blue opponent. But we've got turn 1 Swiftspear and a turn 2 Thermo. The Manamorphose to cheat with them on turn 3. I'm going to pretend that all my spells resolve and do things. Oh, okay. Okay, it splits. interesting. I kind of want to go. Oh, this is interesting. Let's go red here. We have to interact with this Kiln Fiend. I think choosing not to interact with it is just death. And now we have a reasonable shot to kill. Oh, okay. Now we're looking great. You have to have Swiftspear to block. So they're at 11. They go to 7 off of this. Take 6. Epicure wins. So I need to do this. This Xaxes here. Okay. Nice. Look at that. The deck can kind of do the things that I said it does. Swiftspear's great. Removing your 1 heroic creature's opponents, or removing the 1 creature your Boggle's opponent puts into play is good. I don't think I quite want Martyr of Ashes because it's a little slow, vulnerable to Lava Dart. I do want Searing Blaze. And I'm happy to trim Manamorphose. And maybe these spikes are less good. I feel okay about this exchange. Yeah, I don't think I really want the rest of this. Curse is interesting to like be more of a controlling deck and just like have as much removal as possible, but I think part of why the matchup is good is because you race them effectively and you're good at like killing the creature and then killing them before they get to set up again, and Curse I don't think facilitates that the best. Could also see cutting the Epicure for Lava Spike. Alright, this hand is a 1-lander, which I've learned we don't want to keep, but we have a lot of removal for creatures. I think I'm going to keep it. Having Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt, I think in this matchup is just going to be really good. And Skewer the Critics is going to come online. So like we just get to go turn 1 Lava Runner. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable keep. If they have like mutagenic growth to kill me, it happens, but I'm confused what hand they kept. Kill my Lava Runner again. Yep, just happy to pass the turn here. Don't need to discard any cards. I want to interact with the creature on their turn. If I can bolt it, untap, Chain Lightning it, hopefully I can disrupt them. Wow. I guess I'm bolting them to like leave options available to myself, so I don't have to like just like draw another brick because that's my life. Oh, this league already. This chain lightning's also just pretty bad. I can't lose the second bolt. Okay, thank you, Epicure. Arguable, I shouldn't even play this creature, to be honest with you. Lava Dart's okay with me. Thank God. What am I doing? What am I doing? I think I'm going to sacrifice my blood token and discard Searing Blaze. Because if I draw a 1-mana creature, I would like to deploy it. And otherwise I'm just going to pass holding a bolt. Which is what we shall do. There's no way they don't have something here to protect it, but I think we just have to try to exchange resources. Because on our turn we want to be able to Searing Blaze for the best we can. I don't think there's a world where Fire Blasting this wins me the game, so I think I'm okay to F6. I guess if they Team or Battle Rage me, I should choose not to lose the game, but with this impulse, I think we're, again, fine to take this control role. That's kind of why we're built in the way that we are built. And we can still potentially kill them this coming turn. Second Fire Blast is a great way to kill somebody in one turn. But we shall wait until next turn probably to do that. Oh, please don't make me Fire Blast this creature. I don't know if I have the strength. I don't know if I have the strength. I really don't want to. I really don't want to. Alright, I'm going to 12. I guess this isn't lethal, so I force them to... They have to have... So the only... Okay. So this will be a 4/5. If their last card is mutagenic, I can't win anyway. Like if I Fire Blast this and they mutagenic, I'm just dead. And if it's not mutagenic, I just have them dead. So I believe I just let all of this happen. It's Fire Blast in their deck. Good beats. Good beats. For sure. Okay, alright, we got one. We're on the board. That was a weird match. That was a weird match. Strange things happened, but we're back in it. Let's see if we can get that coveted 3-2 for a single chesty. I'm feeling it. Round number 4 versus Cranial 95. I want to say I've played against this person somewhat recently. I'm going to keep this hand. This is a great hand, actually. This is Reckless Impulse being a great Magic the Gathering card. So I believe the sequence is to go Lava Runner on turn 1 so that I can go Bolt Skewer on turn 2. And if I try to do anything else on my turn 1, I don't get to do that sequence. So this is somewhat scripted. Yo, fan of the channel, thank you so much. That does in fact mean a lot. Okay, this is definitely where I've noticed this person before because they were really nice last time I played them. You're awesome, Cranial. Delightful human being. Oh, okay. Swifty here is interesting. So... I think I'm casting the Swiftspear here just to, like, not be as weak to Spellstutter Sprite, but this is odd for sure. So, like, kind of the sequence that gets Reckless Impulse the worst here is Counterspell, but if they're casting Counterspell, like, I'm getting to do other powerful things, so I think this is what I want to do. And I think I just have to Reckless Impulse here. I think casting Skewer and then getting this, getting my Impulse pierced on the following turn is just a recipe for disaster. But Lava Runner is a good draw here. Creature draws coming together. So usually you want to wait and play lands after Reckless Impulse, but we can, with knowing about Pierce, and apparently Pierce is just stock in blue-red now, which I did not know. I would like to have the spell resolve through Pierce, for sure. Because of the way Reckless Impulse works, our turn is likely going to be pretty scripted on this front. And if they pierce me, I do believe I pay for it. Opponent is asking, is this a slightly bigger mono red deck? Which is funny because it's actually very much not. Like the pairing the Reckless Impulse here is like makes it seem that way, but like it's actually, I'm working hard to try to lower the curve. So yeah, I'm definitely lower to the ground, but like Impulse is my payoff for being low to the ground. So I don't, if they have spell stutter sprite plus this pierce, I really don't want to have deployed my Swiftspear, so I think I'm just going to move to combat and attack and hope that this is good. If they have a removal spell, then maybe post-combat I think about playing the Swiftspear, but if they do nothing, I'm just going to pass priority. Okay. Gotcha. I will. So you'll take 2. I'm going to play Swiftspear. If they want to spell stutter me, I will bolt the spell stutter. And now next turn, I get to start my turn with Skewer the Critics. I guess this isn't that great. I'm kind of awkwardly putting them, like they get to pierce my Skewer, then I attack for 4. Yeah, I guess this sequencing is not actually great. Maybe I could have done that better. Huh. Like removal spell plus pierce is just really good. Okay, although if they're playing Augur, they're just dead. Neat. Because we just skewer upstairs. Second skewer costs 1. They go to 2. Any of my creatures are lethal attackers. So. Neato. Yeah, card isn't insane. It's just awesome for these blue decks, just having more resources. Yeah, that was just a great showing for Reckless Impulse. Because if we didn't have Reckless Impulse, like we would just be playing your creatures versus Augur of Bolas in Flame Tongue Kavu mode, where it's just draw a removal spell and spend it on our creature, and we're just getting obliterated in that game if it's not for it. So. If not for Reckless Impulse. So again, Epicure and Metamorphose are rather poor in this matchup, and I would like Curse of the Pierced Heart and Keldon Marauders, and Skewer the Critics is also pretty mopey. I think I did 3 Searing Blaze and then trimmed 1 Spike as well. And I believe I liked that. Oh, I trimmed a Fire Blast before and I kept the Spike. Yes, that was better. Because Fire Blast is awkward. Because you do want to have like one. Ooh. Oh no. These are the hands I think you're kind of like forced to keep. Where mulling to 6 to get more than 4. Like I would be going to 6 cards looking for 2 lands and 4 spells, and I want the 4 spells to be better than this. And I don't think that's likely enough, so I think we just accept this hand and be a little sad. I think I have to send these Chain Lightnings upstairs pretty quickly. I do not have it in me to bolt the turn 1 Fairy Seer. I would love to cast G2 Lava Runner. That is a great turn for G2 Lava Runner. Now this hand's awesome. 2 threats is kind of what needed to happen here. So if they have like Shinobi, or the hacker, nothing. Fascinating. I think I just gotta put the screws to them. So if they have blue elemental blast, my other option is to like play chain lightning, or if I don't want to run this into blue blast, I go chain lightning upstairs, and then they just blue blast my lava runner, and I don't have like a permanent based threat in play versus them. So I think I just want to get not greedy with my thermo, but like the upside is just too much there, which has kind of been the recurring theme with Thermo Alchemist. Here I will just kind of spew these things. If they spell stood or spray me, I let it happen because I can't remove both fairies, but that's okay. And then if they spell stood or spray me, I just resolve Curse of the Pierced Heart, and life is great. Life is also great with this too. So Curse doesn't turn on these two things, but we force them to have Blue Blast, and their hand's already kind of struggling. It's Blue Blasting a thing that's not Thermo Alchemist or Lava Runner in play. So that's all just good stuff for us. Do need to be cognizant of the searing effects in my deck, so I should hold some of these lands. Do want to cast this Chain Lightning to turn on Lava Runner's second point of power. This is fine. Do I just want to cash this bolt in for 4 damage right now? I kind of do. I kind of do. They're just under a lot of pressure right now. Happy to offer this trade. Because then, like, so we are losing a permanent source of persistent source of damage. Persistent's a better word. Oh. Okay. No reason to run this other Lava Runner out into counter magic, that's why I didn't do it pre-combat. And if they're just wasting their mana, Curse is just eating them alive. Curse plus Thermo. So I think I like this. Yeah. Yeah, opponent. So they knowingly kept like a 1-lander with Fairy Seer, hoping it would get them to the second land, I believe. And it's I don't know. Discipline's a tough one. I don't want to. I would be hesitant to use the word discipline. So I'm not a blue expert by any means. And I'm not great at fairy decks. I'm really bad at them actually, but it's just a calculated risk there. We've had this in this league. I kept 1-landers. They didn't work out. But, like, sometimes you look at a hand and say, this was too good to, like, not keep it. I think the way that game played out where they didn't have Blue Blasts would be the kind of things that you want to have in your hand to make those 1-landers more keepable. I think on 7, it is just a little too weak. So they didn't have the ninja to go with the Fairy Seer, so they were looking for both like lands, Blue Blasts, and ninjas to try to help that Fairy Seer get there. And I just think you can do a lot better than that. Especially just when you have the card Blue Blast in your deck, it's just so powerful versus a mono red strategy that I think you can stand a mulligan a bit more aggressively, but I don't know. I don't like using the word discipline. It feels so condescending to say that like your opponent wasn't disciplined enough. Like I don't know. It's a game. It's also like a weak answer to say it's just a game and nothing matters, but like sometimes you keep hands and hope that the cards bail you out a little bit, and that's not, I don't know. Maybe that's just me having a semantic argument over the word discipline, and I should just move on to the next match. So let's do that before I go too far down this rabbit hole, further than I already have. See you there. Thanks for the game's opponent, and thank you for the kind words. It really does mean the world to me. Okay. Round number 5. We're 2-2. We're trying to get that chesty. This hand's sick. I love it. Playing versus UVM, University of Vermont. Another red deck. Okay. Faithless Looting. I'm scared. I'm very scared. Lava Dart Lightning Bolt. Okay, I'm feeling better. Feeling much better. And I think we just lead on our own Swiftspear. So this is likely heroic. I don't really want to be bolting their Swiftspear on the one-landers, not a super threatening card to us. And I think I'm just going Lava Runner here, out of respect of Lava Dart, although maybe I shouldn't, because they have a one-lander. I don't know. So let's see what we got going on. So, show me mutagenic growth to continue playing this game. Okay, you did not show me mutagenic growth. If I Fire Blast them, they go to 13. Take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they go to 6. I've got 6 power in play. I believe I can just wait and do all of that next turn. And hopefully a Reckless Impulse gets us more goodies in there as well. Okay. Land is great. But let's start with our Impulse. Interesting. Very interesting. So they're at 12 right now. If I can't push lethal right now. Because of, so if they blocked nothing, I would have lethal. But if they have anything, or wait, actually, wait, this is okay. So if they block Voldaire and Epicure, I Fire Blast the Festival Crasher, or no, wait, no, mutagen. Oh wait, there's such a low life total that mutagenic growth is not a factor in a lot of these, so they probably just can't block here. Or maybe I'm overthinking this. I think I just need to do this. Yeah, let me just... Okay, cool. Great. I think I did my math right. If I didn't, I'm probably dead because of this Lava Dart in their graveyard, but I'm pretty sure that's 8. Alright, we did it. Yay! God, this is gonna be so sick. I'm so hyped if we can turn this 0-2 into a 3-2. I'd be very proud of that. Very, very proud. So Searing Blaze, again, Morpho is out. And what else did I cut? This was so long ago. The joke is it was not actually that long ago, but I do want 4 of these Searing Blazes. I guess Skewer the Critics is kind of... Skewer or like one of these 2-drops. Oh, no, it's Spike. Yeah, I cut Spike because these just don't hit creatures. I should never be cutting Skewer because it can just hit creatures, and hitting a creature for 3 mana is like just something that we're interested in. And this hand's awesome. Also, side note, huge fan of these lightning bolts. This art, I really like it. I thought I was going to be like predominantly a fan of the metal lightning bolt that they had from that secret lair, but I've really quite enjoyed this. Just gonna play Searing Blaze here. Fire Blast is nice insulation. If they have mutagenic, they have mutagenic. If they don't. So if we draw a land, I think we have them dead pretty easily. Ooh, that's a slow Reckless Impulse right there. Alright, land. Not quite land. Now I have to do math. 4, 8, 13, 14. Let me do that again. We have 10 damage here. 3 prowess triggers is 13. 1 power to start with. Yeah, that's just a turn 3 kill. That looks like Moto Deathlag. Awesome. You'll love to see it. That was great. That was good. You know, we had a brutal matchup round 1. Round 2 was one of the worst punts I've made in a really long time. In the game that we did win. The sideboard games that we lost were fine. Like I think we lost those games because the blue matchups are not the most ideal. But then we played versus 2 of the matchups that I wanted to see, where I think we are good versus Blitz. Even though we didn't see cards like Apostle's Blessing or mutagenic growth, like those cards cost life in that deck, and that's part of why the burn matchup is like positive, because, you know, when you spend a Chain Lightning to exchange with a mutagenic growth, you are trading down on mana, which sucks, but like you are only losing 1 damage, and you're forcing them to have cards at certain periods of time, and you don't always get the luxury of sculpting your hand in that way in the Blitz deck. So get to really punish them for those kind of decisions. Manamorphose, still feeling weird about that card, but I don't know. It had some cool moments versus blue-red when we draw it with the Thermo in play. That was like pretty powerful. But that's, again, flex slot, whatever you want to play. I think it has to be a spell. I don't think you can play any more creatures in the main deck, so I think it has to be a spell and one that comes at a pretty low cost. I don't think I want to be adding more 2 or 3 drops. So I want a 0 or 1 mana spell there. Gut Shot is not the worst thing that ever has existed, but probably not for this deck. No, you don't want Gut Shot. That's a terrible example, but you get the gist. Felt pretty good about the sideboard. Martyr of Ashes is pretty reasonable to just find a different card. I think that would be okay to just cut entirely, because those kind of go wide decks just aren't really around at the moment. But it's powerful, so it's whatever. But otherwise, I feel pretty good about the build. I think we got to showcase why it's powerful. Like, obviously, Swiftspear is a great card, and we had some good Swiftspear draws that won us a lot, but we also had Thermal Alchemist soloing some games, and Reckless Impulse showed up for work versus Blue-Red in Match 4, and really just delivered us that Game 1 win, which is great. I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, some still got room for improvement, but I like it, and I feel pretty good about, you know, starting at a baseline. And I would recommend this list to anybody wanting to play Burn at the moment or play something a little bit different. The games are still fun. I've really enjoyed this. You know, I made some pretty bad punts there, but the sequencing, or like how to do things best, is still really engaging with this deck at this time. So hopefully that came across during the matches and it was entertaining, and hopefully this encourages other people to think about how to build this deck maybe somewhat differently, because there's just a lot of room to explore, and it's fun to be part of that process of iterating and learning. So hopefully some learning occurred. I sure learned about Chain Lightning and sequencing. That was horrible. I'm so embarrassed. I hate it. I hate it. But it's good to have those moments for sure. So thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.